This one is from December 1st of 2021, so it's pretty recent. I came to God this morning and humbled myself before Him and asked Him what my next assignment was, where I was asking Him, what did He have for me? What did it feel like? Where were we going? And I could like see Him lean in close, and He said, rest. Take this season of rest. And then He said, Kaylee, I see how hard you've been trying. I see how hard you've been working. I see how hard you've been trying to be like me and reflect me and do things like me. And I love you for it. I truly know your heart is in the right place, and it is positioned to be more like me every day. But my child, I created you to be you. And the more you try to be like someone else, the more you forget who you truly are. You aren't going to change the world by being someone else. You have to be you. You have to be authentically 100% you. There's a difference between treating people how I would and loving them how I do and truly acting like me when it's not you. You can love people like me, but still be you. You can treat people like me, but still be you. I don't want you to lose yourself trying to find me. You've already found me. You found me the moment you gave your life over to me. Now the trick is finding the balance between living large for me, but as yourself. I know it's uncertain ground and you feel as though you've lost your footing, but I can assure you that you haven't. You are simply figuring it out as you go, and that's always been my plan for you. You are a person who learns by fire and by going out and doing it rather than staying in your head. You are not behind, and you certainly didn't mess it up. You are simply trying to figure out who you are in the process of still trying to live for me. I don't want you to give up your life for me. I don't want you to give up your life and your likings and your preferences and your talents and your gifts for me. I don't want slaves. I want family. I don't want work. I just want obedience. And obedience comes when you are truly walking in who you are, but you are living for me. I don't want you to feel like you have to give things up in order to make me like you or to approve of you. That would be manipulation. Manipulation at its core. I don't tell my children what they can and can't do, but I do show them my ways, and then I allow them to find their own path along that way. That path may look different for every single one of my children, and that's okay. Actually, that's better than okay, because that's great, because that allows the individuality of each child to come through and to be seen. That's all I want for you. That's all I want for any one of you. I want you to feel seen, but not for trying to be something else. I want you to be seen and known and loved for you, the true and authentic you. You give such light to those around you. You breathe life into dead situations and dead people, and you bring them back to life. You shine my light as well as your own, and I want you to know that is okay. That is how I've created you. I have created you to be all that you can be, while still sharing me. It is truly a talent, and one that you will continue to form. I love you more than you can comprehend or grasp, and I need you to know that you're not alone. You're never alone. I am always right beside you, and I promise I will lead you through this too. So I know that was kind of a personal word to me, but I also feel like it is meant to be shared with others, because it's a hard process to try to figure out who you are personally and individually, like as an individual, and still live your life for God. Because I know I personally was getting kind of caught up in the religious mindset of I have to be a certain way to portray God. Like God's reputation is at stake. So I need to look a certain way, I need to act a certain way, I need to talk a certain way, I need to be a certain way for people to receive God. Because I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to be the one that turns someone away from the Lord. That's never ever my intention. And so I definitely am still in this process of understanding and trying to find that balance of knowing myself, figuring out myself, and still knowing how to live for God, and how to blend those together without me actually losing myself and watering myself down. Because I feel like that's definitely what started to happen. Is I was watering myself down. I was stuffing myself. I was, pushing different parts of me down, trying to look a certain way, trying to be a certain way, so that God could come through me. And in the process of me doing that, I was shutting God down too. And so I'm on this journey, or I'm in this process of trying to allow myself to be all that He's called me to be and all that He created me to be, but still also live for Him, and to still share His love, and still, just love all of His children. And so if you have found yourself in that position at all, of, just really feeling like you have to be a certain way or do a certain thing for you to be able to, stay in connection with God, I just want you to know that He wants you to be. He doesn't want you to try to be like Him. I know I'm not 100% sure how to explain it, because our intention is to live like Christ. That is our intention. 100% who we are called to be as Christians is to live a life that represents Christ, and to be as Christ-like as we possibly can. But there is a level of knowing what parts of you make you, and keeping those parts and still living like Christ, rather than putting down all of the parts that make you and trying to be Jesus. Because there's that level of perfectionism where it's like, we will never be Jesus. We are not Jesus. We can strive for it all day long, but we will not be it. He is perfect and is the Son of God, and that's why He came for us, because He knew we could never do that for ourselves. So I really just feel like there is that level of balance of finding who you are, which is a process in itself. I understand, and I know that takes time to be gentle with yourself and be kind to yourself as you're in the process of figuring out who you are and allowing God to show you who you are. And then as you are discovering that about yourself, living, I don't know, I think I heard someone say it, it's the idea is trying to live your life as Jesus would if He was you. Not trying to make you be like Jesus, if that makes sense, but it's more of a, if Jesus was Kaylee, if Jesus looked like me, sounded like me, had my talents, had my passions, had my limitations, had my issues or my temptations, or my just if Jesus was me, how would He be? It is so relieving for me to know that, like, okay, that takes the pressure off of me trying to be like someone else that I can never accomplish. Like, I will never be as good as Jesus. I mean, that's why He is so amazing. But it's unrealistic to expect myself to be like Him, or to expect anyone else to be like Him for that matter. I mean, I think the mindset should be a little bit more of how would Jesus be if He was like me? How can I show love through what I have to offer, and acceptance, and how Jesus was if He was me, if He looked like me, if He sounded like me, if He taught, if He believed what I believed, if He grew up where I grew up, if He had the influence with the people around Him that I do, rather than trying to put pieces of you away and try to chip pieces of you off and try to stuff parts of you here and there and like try to have all of these things nicely tucked away, when all of those are what make you. All of those things are the things that the Lord has given you to use for you to make a difference, for you to change the world, for you to set people free. And so, we end up watering it down. We water ourselves down. And even though it's out of love for the Lord, and even though it's out of, us really trying to be more like Christ, I know that feeling of feeling like you lost yourself along the way. And I just want you to feel set free from that you don't have to hide parts of you to try to be more like Jesus, because those parts of you might very well be, they probably will be, the places or the parts that help specific people that no one else would be able to help, because it is something that only you have gone through, only you have experienced, and you can be the only one to help them through theirs. And so, like, why would God want you to take that away? Why would He want you to stuff that in a box, in a closet, when that could be what saves someone else's life or sets someone else free? So for me, it's very empowering and very, just encouraging to know that, all right, it's okay for me to be in this process of finding that balance of living for God, but doing it as me, doing it as Kaylee would. And this is kind of, you're going to get to experience my journey as I'm doing this, because at some point you have to let people